Oh, there he is. You see that bite? Woo-hoo. That is one heck of a redfish. This show is all about the redfish. The redfish is the most popular inshore game fish all along the Gulf Coast. Well, there we are, doubled up again. Probably 60, 70 pounds of redfish between these two fish. There's a lot of good reasons why. We find them in many different zones, in the bays, on the flats, the inlets, out on the beach. Any size, anywhere in the country, that's my favorite redfish to catch right there. Sight casting beach reds. 365 days a year, we can catch redfish right here. And we're gonna show you why they're the most popular inshore game fish. Yeah, look at that!
Chasing the Sun is brought to you by Holiday Inn Resort, Panama City Beach. Humminbird, simply, clearly better. Dulce Vida Tequila. Grundon's, we are fishing. And by Pirates Cove Marina, you enjoy the Gulf, we'll take care of the rest.
Something that I get asked all the time is, okay, y'all got redfish everywhere. What's your favorite way to target them? And I don't have a simple answer to that because I love it all. Smaller fish in shallow water, whether it's on the grass flats in our bay.
Oh man, I tell you what, that sun is starting to poke back out and these redfish are excited.
Sand flats of the beach.
That's such a cool bite.
Catch these big bull reds at the bridges.
We have these size redfish just floating around on the surface out here.
But these are all catch and release, so as long as we keep letting them go, we'll have them forever. Oh, golly. They all create their own challenge. There's a different kind of payoff for every different situation. So I love it all.
It's a semi-pelagic species, meaning it's pretty much shallow water. 130 feet or inside, it's where they live. Spawn in the fall in deeper water, offshore. These catch the big ones, it's in deep water because that's where they live.
And he's got buddies with him too, so I know there's more out here. Redfish.
After the spawn, the big reds will move out and do their thing. And the fry will move into the inshore areas and the estuaries and the backcountry. And they live inshore for up to like 4 years, till they hit 28 inches. Because of the breeding population that is existing in the upper Gulf, they're here in mass and catchable 365.
It's gorgeous. That is unbelievable. Hey, I'm serious. I think that's one of the best bites I've ever seen in my life.
Shallow water, deep water, skiff, paddleboard, wading, on the beach. You're not necessarily fishing the same fish, but you're able to catch them so many different ways. That's what makes them the greatest fish in the Gulf.
So the redfish is one of the few fish that I target that the little guys are just as fun to catch as the big ones.
Back up, back up.
There we go.
All right.
Beautiful red.
All right, man.
We're on the board.
Yes, we are.
The juvenile redfish, they mainly inhabit shallow waters like our grass flats or our beaches here. And they're actually tougher to catch a lot of times than the big ones, which is unlike a lot of other fish.
Look at here, 3 or 4 of them.
The reason is when redfish are in shallow water, they're really finicky, they're really smart, and they know that they're susceptible to prey, birds of prey, other fish, because they're small, other things want to try to eat them. You have to be super technical and super stealthy to get close enough to catch one of those small redfish.
And all fish have a vertical response. So if we're standing up on the flats and he sees us, he's instantly gonna go. The cool thing about redfish is if you ever see one stopped, guess what? He's like figuring out what's going on. Because he's coming around the corner and he's like, whoop, what is that? And the next thing you're gonna see, if you don't make that shot exactly perfect, is him going pew the other way.
That's a secret. You just gotta be on the other side of the grass when you throw at them.
I just watched them swimming down that edge, and I thought, to get my bait in front of them,
Let's see, nice. He's pretty.
and that fish was about 5 feet,
from just cruising right on out of here.
Look at the spots on him.
Yeah.
Isn't he pretty?
Me and Travis are not gonna come out here on this beach and not catch some redfish. Oh, I just got bit.
Nice, double.
Redfish crazy, baby. This show is all about the redfish. Big bulls out in open water to the little juveniles on the grass flats, they're all fun to catch. Really, targeting these redfish on the grass flats is probably the most popular way to target them. We do it wading. The next one would be on a paddleboard, one of my personal favorite ways to target a redfish. And the reason is, there's nothing more technical than getting within just a few feet of a redfish and him not knowing you're there. And there's not a whole lot of ways to do that, but I can do that on the paddleboard.
Yep, soft plastics is pretty much what I like to fish with for redfish all the time. And you can fish them from the juvenile state, the little guys. You know, prime example, if you guys saw the show or I fell off the paddleboard. It was pretty fun. We were fishing the back estuary back here in the deep, and there's one situation where I was going along and Justin was off to my side, and I was like 10 feet from a redfish, and I was like, you gotta catch him right there, right there. And the cool part about that is that same lure that we use to dupe the little guy, who is not quite a predator, still juvenile, spooky, 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 because everything's trying to eat him. You can take that same lure, throw it on a different jig, it's a little heavier, and go catch his papa, or his brother, or his mama, or his cousin, or whoever that may be.
The third way would be on a poling skiff.
Right now I can see off to the right a lot better than I can see off to the left, so I'm going to get us out a little further where we have that better visibility inside us.
When these fish are super, super shallow, you need a really lightweight, shallow poling skiff. And if you have one, you can use it in the same way we use the paddleboard, which allows us to float really shallow and get close enough to these fish where we can see them and catch them.
I can't believe we got them out of that grass. That is one of the cooler redfish I've ever caught. That's one of the best bites I've ever seen. I mean, that first off, just to have him tucked up in that grass so tight like that, and then I could see how big he was, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I can't believe this big overslot fish is just chilling up in there. Look at that dude. Are you kidding me? But he was so close to the boat, I was happy just to see him. I knew he was just gonna blow out of there.
The cool thing is, there's tons of redfish right here along the beach. If you're staying at the Holiday Inn Resort right here, you can be on your balcony and see redfish cruising on the beach, and it's completely okay and legal to walk out to the beach and catch that fish right here.
Beginning anglers, got a little advice for you. Super simple. You gotta go fishing. In the Gulf Coast, you know, we can do it on the beach. You can do it via paddleboard in the backcountry. I kind of like the beach as far as beginning because, you know, it's beautiful here. I mean, clearly, it's beautiful here. And you can see them, you know, swimming by. When the sun's out, you can see them going by. So you get shots and you know there's fish there. I mean, that's the reason why we sight fish, because we know there's fish there.
So most of the time when I'm red fishing on the beach, I'm in the tower because I'm looking for a height advantage where I can see these fish. That's how we find them. We don't just cruise the beach, you know, casting. You know, we're in the tower and we're gonna visually find these fish with our eyes before we cast to them.
See, I'm very trusting. I believe Justin can see quite well up there. And honestly, there's no backrest really, so I'm gonna hang out down here. Act like I'm on vacation. Forward ho! You know, when Justin's driving in the tower and I'm on the front of the boat, you know, I'm a fishing guide, he's a fishing guide. I'm gonna take every opportunity I can to fish. You put the two of us in the boat, I'm gonna put him in the back.
In 1 to 3 feet of water, it's crystal clear, white sand bottom. You would think, well, we call them redfish, but in reality, when they're out here on the beach, they got it! They should be called silverfish because they lose most of that red color.
That is a beach red. See how blonde he is? Little blue tail juvenile.
They become extremely white and silver, and they really mirror that sand bottom. And it's amazing how they do blend in and camouflage themselves to that clear sand bottom. Oh yeah, I got a big one just chilling right here. Way up shallow. Oh, look at that. He's swimming right here to us.
One going away, one coming at you.
And he's just completely turned away from it.
They're invisible, but you got a little shadow moving. They pop up a little bit, move down, turn sideways, and got a little hint of red. The thing that's most important is that you don't miss the bite.
Oh, that is definitely a red. There we go, got it.
Oh, it came off.
Dang it, man. Well, see, why does that fish bite so quick? And you look at all those other fish we threw at, we're a pain in the rear.
If you're reeling slow and your hand's on the reel nice and soft, and all of a sudden it comes to a stop, that's usually a bite.
Oh. No, you got a red.
I got a red too, in the bluefish. And the reaction there is just a nice little tug.
He got it. Look at that.
And if he's there, you keep it bent, and he's gonna swim away, and you let him run a little bit. He's a bulldog. Nice, double. The most important part, though, is just not to miss the bite. And that's usually anything that's different than what you've been doing.
Redfish crazy, baby. Oh, that one's bigger, isn't it?
Yours is a little bigger. Thanks for the double, Justin.
It was really cool the first time me and Travis got to fish together. We were red fishing. Oh, they're with them. Stop, stop, stop. Throw over here. They're all with them.
What is it, reds?
Redfish, but there's a bunch with them. Oh, that's a real one.
That's a redfish.
Our go-to, 12 months a year. Pretty much everywhere in Bay County you can find redfish.
But just because he's a redfish don't mean he's living in the shore.
That's right.
This buddy's grown up. He's 29, 30 inches.
So most of the year on the beach, you're gonna have some juvenile redfish and some big bull redfish. And of course, they're all out there for different reasons. A lot of them, they share. You know, they all want food, okay? And there's tons of bait on the beach. But there's times, usually spring and fall, where those bull reds are gonna leave the beach. They're gonna move up our bay system. They're gonna look for these big bait fish concentrations around the bridges and the passes, and that's when they're moving in there for their big spawn.
Oh, I just saw a big
I
flash.
saw something right there.
There they are. Golly.
Look at that, what a fish.
Jeez.
So those big redfish, I mean, they get in these schools and they're just feeding machines. You'll see the frenzies on the surface and it'll attract other animals like, you know, you'll see pelicans diving on them looking for those same bait fish. We know about where these fish are gonna pop up, and when they do, they're feeding, okay? They're gonna bite, that's not a problem. Now the battle is, once you hook that fish, you got a giant fish, you know, and a lot of my clients love this, okay? Because it's one of the best bites you're gonna find out here.
Happened just like that, boy, that quick.
Hey, you gotta be patient, but you gotta be ready.
You gotta be ready always. You coming this way?
Hey, you know the fishing's good when you can't wait to get rid of a
The one you
30-pound
got
redfish
and catch another
so
one.
you can catch another one. Look at this, I might have you beat.
Oh,
I don't know.
I got some girth.
Now that is a pair of redfish right there.
That's what you want.
We want people to have success doing this. This is a lot of the reason we do this show, is so we can show y'all not only what we have to offer here, but how we do it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Here, see if you can lead him around over here on this side, on the left side over here. So, you know, that's what makes that its own unique thing at the bridges, is these big redfish. Once we find them and see them push that bait up, we're gonna catch them. All right, Jordan, I hear that dude drumming, making that drumming noise. What do you think that is, makes that noise?
They use their swim bladder to do it.
Okay.
I know that. I don't know exactly how, but I know they're using their swim bladder to,
Yeah, you can
to
see his
vibrate.
belly.
Yeah, flexing. They do that when they're feeding and spawning. They do it to communicate to bunch up. So when they hear that, you know there's more in the area.
Yeah. It was really cool the first time me and Travis got to fish together. We were red fishing. Oh, they're with them. Stop, stop, stop. Throw over here. They're all with them.
What is it, reds?
Redfish, but there's a bunch with them. I knew that was gonna be an easy way to go catch some, bend the rod. Well, bend the rod a little too much. He saw these other redfish coming up with mine. Hey, he knew what to do right away.
Not in a rush.
There we go.
Redfish.
And it just goes to show you, know, people that have fished like this for a long time, done it professionally, you know, we can just kind of feed off each other and read each other's minds. If you're gonna break your rod on a redfish, might as well make it a big one and do it 2 at a time.
You know, if you're in the deeper water, basically the redfish is the apex predator, and he's chasing around stuff that's swimming. So you're swimming the lure through, and he comes at it this way. Boom, he hits it. Well, you know you're hooked up. It just, the rod goes.
Golly, look at that redfish.
That's a good red.
Oh,
He got another one. Look, he's got a chunky with him.
Hold on, hold on.
Look at him.
Oh, look at them all coming up.
when you got a fish coming up, especially a schooling fish like a redfish, you want to watch that fish coming up, because this dude came up and had a whole bunch more with him. Now, if I would have wound this guy right up to the boat, the other ones would have probably took off. What? Now look at this pelican right here. He thinks he's gonna eat this or something. You want that? I don't think so.
They don't really have any predators once they become a 30-inch plus fish. You know, they got teeth, they have scales, it's like armor.
I mean, I've seen bull sharks take bites out of these
Yeah.
things and not be able to get past the scales.
Yeah. Look at that. We might have to measure some of these, because that's a solid 40 inches if I've ever seen one, if not more.
It's able to tolerate heat, cold. It really is pretty much the ultimate fish in the upper Gulf.
That's a stud. He's been rummaging around down there pretty good too. He's got a little,
You won't see me sticking my fingers in his mouth like that.
well, you gotta hold it.
I love it.
I always talk about when we're sight fishing, we're looking for a higher vantage point so that we can see the fish. Riding around in a helicopter, that's a really good vantage point.
There's some fish running. Golly, that was a redfish for sure.
Chasing the Sun has been brought to you by Minn Kota. Half-pitch tackle. Get out there. Fish Monkey Performance Fishing Gloves. Panama City Inshore. These guys can fish. And by Visit Panama City Beach. Real fun beach.
All right, we're at half-hitch tackle right here in Panama City Beach. So one of the most common questions that I get from viewers is if you had to have one setup, one rod, reel, lure, the whole thing to go red fishing with, what would it be?
Oh, wow, it's easy.
Easy. When I hear that, I'm like, we catch redfish in so many different scenarios.
See, I just go like, I want one rod to do everything.
There we go.
That's I'm the you
Mr.
know,
Simple here.
one rod, everything.
All right, so let's go pick out
Reel.
everything you would need to go catch a redfish if you could only have one setup.
All right, I'm in.
You wanna
Let's
do
do
it?
it.
Let's go. Game on. I'm gonna actually err on the lighter side of things. I imagine Travis would go heavy. It's gonna be a spinning rod. Let me just say that, but we're both gonna end up with a spinning rod.
So I'm full on cheating. Yeah, I got Jay here helping me get the good stuff. Get the good stuff. That's what you gotta do. Good stuff.
I mean, just too many different scenarios to cover with one lure, but if I had to have one lure to cover them all, it'd be the paddlers. I have a whole corner in my garage that's nothing but this setup right here.
All right, so we're back from project one get up.
Yep.
So what did you choose, Travis?
Well, I went with the old Stella 4000 Shimano because that's, you know, the Cadillac cats.
Surprisingly similar to what I ended up with. I went 3000 size, so one size smaller on the Stratic, and 7-foot Terramar, which is their, you know, I mean, this is Shimano's
That's
kind
a
of do
work
it
rod.
all. Oh, it's a workhorse. What are you gonna spool that with?
Well, I'm gonna go with the old 20-pound Super Slick V2.
So I went green, but I went with 15 Power Pro. And what are you gonna put on your hook? We
gonna-
both went soft plastic.
I'm gonna go with the Exude Mr. Twister Dart in shrimp.
Okay. This isn't, I mean, size-wise and action-wise is not too much different. Versatile.
That's the key. Gotta have options.
So one of the coolest experiences of my life is getting to see these redfish from a helicopter.
Okay, here's what we call ETL. All right, as we're taking off here, this is obviously Pier Park.
Yeah,
Over there's the
sky wheel.
observation wheel, yeah. And we'll come out here, you're gonna feel a little bit of a bump when we get around backside of these buildings here because of the way the wind's coming.
I always talk about when we're sight fishing, we're looking for a higher vantage point so that we can see the fish. Well, riding around in a helicopter, that's a really good vantage point.
There's some fish running. Okay, see them running down there?
Yeah, I can actually see the fish there.
Yeah. Yeah, look at them down there.
Golly, that was a redfish for sure. Looks like a little mix of mullet and redfish. Matter of fact, we've done some shows, JR, right in this same exact area on the paddle boards, pulling back through these
Oh, is that right?
marshes when the water gets high. You know, a lot of these redfish will push up in these little pockets and you can't really get a boat. Yeah, matter of fact, one just pushed over there. I tell you, JR, there's a lot of people that have come to Panama City Beach for vacation, you know, over the course of their lifetime. And They've been missing out on a lot of it if they hadn't come up here and flown.
Oh, I know.
So this is why we film redfish. This is why we catch redfish. This is why we talk about redfish so much, is because it's what I love to do.
Fish right here. Yeah.
Redfish.
The most important thing is to get off the couch, go do something, make these memories.
Gosh, look at that super tanker.
It's what America's great for. We have outdoors.
Pair of redfish.
A pair of them.
Yeah.
You know, the upper Gulf Coast, all these beautiful beaches, all this stuff. Just go do it. That's what it's about.
Beautiful fish.
Man, it's pretty. Awesome, man. It's the shallow grass flats, the beaches, the deep water. There's a lot of different techniques. It's accessible to everyone. Literally, the depth of the redfish is unlimited.